What could keep the Georgia Bulldogs from winning a third national championship? I'm not talking about the things around them and Tennessee having another phenomenal year or Ole Miss having a crazy pop year. We'll talk about the schedule in a second. But what internally could keep Georgia from accomplishing their goals? I think the answer is fairly obvious for all of us that are in tune here. It's the quarterback position. And not because you don't have talent in that room. That's the good news. You got a lot of talent in the room. Gunnar Stockton, Carson Beck, Brock Vandagriff, all talented guys. But you just, quite frankly, under Kirby Smart, have yet to win a national title without Stetson Bennett and without Todd Monken. You now lose both heading into 2023. So that's the question mark at the very least. Can you get enough from the quarterback position to win a third national title in a row? Let's start with the good news, though. There's talent in that room, like I just said. And when I say there's talent in that room, you can trust your own evaluations. But if you don't, look at who else offered these guys. Look at who else was trying to get Carson Beck on their football team, Brock Vandagriff on their football team, Gunnar Stockton on their football team. There's a lot of the top schools in the country that are also submitting their evaluations and saying, yep, good enough for us. Okay, so you trust Georgia, I would imagine, but if you didn't, other schools are co-signing. Yeah, there's a lot of talent in the room, okay? So there's enough to win there. And it's not to dunk on Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett, I think, has GOAT status in Athens. If you don't believe me, ask Kirby Smart. He said the same thing after they won the Natty. But these dudes just straight up have more ability, more of what you can't coach than a one Stetson Bennett did. Okay, so I'm not saying they're better quarterbacks than Stetson Bennett. Otherwise, they would have started. But again, from an ability standpoint, you upgrade here. Do you upgrade from a play standpoint, from a level of play standpoint? Remains to be seen. The other good news is the supporting cast is ridiculous. Georgia recruits top 3 classes like most of us drink water. It's just sort of a natural thing they do. It's a natural day-to-day thing they do. And you've got a lot of pieces coming back. Brock Bowers, I've already told y'all many a time, wholeheartedly believe he will be the best player in college football next year, regardless of whatever the Heisman Trophy voting says. Javon Bullard, MVP defensively of that national title game that we got to go watch at SoFi Stadium, and he's coming back. You have Dominique Lovett, who's going to be a dude transferring in from Missouri. A lot of people wanted him to play for him. Like, you see what I'm saying here? The pieces around whoever that starting quarterback is, it's a Ferrari, okay? It is a Ferrari. I got more thoughts on this, but if you have not yet subscribed, would love to have you a part of this whole operation, okay? This is a college football community that y'all have allowed us to cultivate. We're live on Tuesday and Thursday. Hit the bell as well so you know when we go live. It's just a party when we go live, to be honest with you, and I want y'all a part of that. So make sure you do that. And then also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Piquel. Just a great medium for us to kick it back and forth, hear from y'all. We do content every single day, but that's a great way for me to hear, hey, I want to see a video on X topic. So that's a lot of fun. The schedule is very winnable. Okay, the schedule for Georgia is not going to be ridiculous. I got more thoughts on that. I'll talk about that in a second. But with the schedule and the road looking like it is, with the car looking like it is, with all the talent, the Ferrari like I just told you about, here is the, I don't want to say bad news, but here is the news. You still have to drive the car. It doesn't matter how nice the Ferrari is if you don't take it off the lot. If you don't have the right driver behind the fastest car, speed doesn't matter. Because guess what? You end up on the side of the road with a flat tire or you've crashed the vehicle. You still have to drive this thing straight on the schedule. You still have to be able to execute. And it sounds like coach speak. To be honest with you, it probably is, but it's coach speak for a reason because coaches know the game, and that's just the reality. You got to have somebody that's going to play within the system and execute. How many times do we hear Kirby Smart say that about Stetson Bennett? Yeah, he had a great game. He played within our system. Can this first-year starting quarterback, whoever it is, as much talent as they have around them, can they keep from crashing the car and playing within the system? It's hard to win games if you're throwing 4 picks. I don't anticipate that from these guys, but I think it would be irresponsible to not at least acknowledge the fact that you have to get it done. It's going to be a new OC and Mike Bobo. You have to get it done. Okay, so keep from crashing that car. Going back to the schedule, like I told you I'd talk about, the bar has been raised at Georgia. And this is going to be a 1-game season. At most, I could see it being a 3-game season. The one game it comes down to for me is November 18th in Knoxville, Tennessee. Georgia Bulldogs go play the Vols. Very real possibility that myself and Nick Brake will be at that game. So we'll talk about that more as we get here. But you hear what I'm saying. Georgia will be favored in likely every game they play. The only games that'll be competitive, I would imagine, from a spread standpoint, Tennessee is going to be competitive, I'd imagine. If they do what they're supposed to do up to that point in the year, who knows what Florida's going to bring to the table? They're a big question mark in year 2 under Billy Napier. It's a neutral site. It's a rivalry game. Who knows what South Carolina is early in the year? I mean, heck, the way they finished the year, you got to give them a little bit of love. I'll throw one more in there, Ole Miss. Now, I don't know that all 4 of these teams pop at the same time and give Georgia problems, but we're trying to manufacture games for Georgia right now, right? And that's not disrespect to other teams. I'm just telling you from a spread perspective, from what we can expect, Georgia has a very winnable schedule. It'll be a 1-game season, maybe a couple more, but likely a 1-game season for the Dogs, whoever it is. The bar has been raised. You win the SEC, yes, of course. Like, that's price of admission now after what they did last year. But national titles is what you expect. National titles, a 3rd national title, is what this year is about. If Georgia ends up not winning a 3rd national title, you think Kirby Smart's saying, hey, good year, boys? I don't think he'd feel that way. I don't think that would be the conversation internally going on for Kirby Smart, because he's a competitor. He demands the best from himself. He demands the best from his team. And we all, I think, feel fairly confident in saying this team, personnel-wise, is more than capable of running it back for a 3rd time. But what could hold them back? Quarterback position. So I'm excited to watch that battle. I believe for the time being it will be Carson Beck until we somehow hear intel otherwise. But it's going to be a battle, man. Vandergriff can sling it. Gunnar Stockton took off the non-contact jersey during the national championship week. Like, they got some dudes in that quarterback room. I'm excited to watch them battle it out. No pressure, no diamonds. Georgia, however, is no stranger to either of those, if you catch my drift. We appreciate y'all tuning in. This is the Hard Count. Again, we are live twice a week now, Tuesday and on Thursday. Hit the bell so you do not miss when that happens. Get in the live chat. Get after it with us. Hit me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Piquel. DM stay open like Brock Bowers in the end zone against TCU. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.